Hi everyone, welcome back to another part in this cute little Rita Berman picture. This is from the Welt Unter der Lupe Lande. I say it really quickly so you don't notice my bad pronunciation. Now, in our first video we did the mouse with the corn, excuse me, and in the second video we just did the doors and windows and wood because I was in a bit of a hurry, so I did it quite quickly. I didn't want to just do a bit and then tag another bit onto the end because I felt like it might be a little bit disjointed. So today I'm going to concentrate on the sort of mushroomy bit and the house, as it were, and I'm sort of using the Black Widow pencils again. As I've explained before, I've only got the Cobra and the Black Widow, the sort of original spider set, but I'm finding that's plenty of good selection to do this picture. Now I'm a little bit confused by the mushroom because we've got the stem here, but it's got brickwork, so I'm not sort of sure what colours to do it. Now we don't really have brick type colours in my pencils, and I had thought about, often I do the stems grey, but we've got our grey mouse, we don't want it to look too different. So what I'm actually going to do is start with this rattlesnake colour. Now it's a sort of orangey brown. It will look a bit similar to the door at the minute, but I'm going to go over the whole thing, not the top bit. I haven't decided what I'm doing with that yet, but this bit, with this to start with, just a layer to sort of get some colour down, and then put some other colours on top. My idea is to try and make it look a little bit house bricky sort of colour, but I don't have those sorts of colours. If you're using polychromos, then you've got those colours in your you've got cinnamon, you've got Pompeian red and Venetian red, you've got those sorts of tones which will work well. But in Black Widows we don't sort of have those tones. So what I'm going to do, this should be even and it isn't, but never mind. Here we're going to try and make some of those tones by just colouring over. This is just my base layer, and then we're going to add some different colours on top. I'm thinking a few of the oranges might work, particularly the more subdued tones like the Toadstool, I think it is. I can't remember for sure. I'll have a look in a bit. But I'm just, as you can see, I'm just going over the whole thing. So I hope you're all well and good. I've just been out, which was nice. I went out shopping, which just to the supermarket. But I walked along the canal both ways, which was rather nice. I didn't see any unusual wildlife. It's still a little bit cold. It was quite windy this morning. But I saw a cute moorhen, and what else did I see? I saw a female mallard. She was storming towards me as if she was starving and thought I might have something for her, but I never feed the birds unless I happen to have a bit of grain, because and even then I don't do it too often. Just apparently it isn't really good because you get too much of a concentration of birds in one area, and you shouldn't feed them bread apparently, because it's not good, it's not healthy for them. But I don't know. If I feed them, I feed them, we go to a wetland trust sometimes, and if we have a bit of grain left over from feeding, which we buy there, so they know exactly what the birds should be eating. If we have a little bit left over, then we feed it to our wild birds here. Let's zoom in a bit now because I'll be doing a few more details. Oh, I'm going to do the frame as well here. So that's quite rough, and you know, it's just how it is, how it's come out. And I'm going to have a little look. This colour, what's that colour? That's it. This is the Toadstool. I was right. It's a sort of, it looks quite orangey, but I also think it's quite pale. Actually, what should we do? I think we'll use this darker colour again, the rattlesnake, first, and do the darker areas and then go in with that lighter one. That's what I'll do. So what I want to do is make it a little bit dark on the edges, as I often do with these sorts of things, to give it a little bit of shape and interest as well. So just adding an extra layer here. It's still looking a bit scruffy. I haven't really warmed up. I haven't done any colouring yet today, so that's my excuse. I won't worry too much about shadowing. I'm going to think more about shape and light at the minute. There'll be shadows sort of under here and things, and I'm going to deal with that in a minute. We can use a different colour for that. So I'm just fading this in. I haven't really explained to you what I'm doing. I'm just putting a darker layer on the edges and sort of fading it in. Yeah, my husband sent me on a mission to go and buy him some tea. He likes PG Tips, but they used to do an extra strong, which he liked, but they've stopped selling it in the local shop. So I had to get him some normal one, but he hasn't had tea for a while. He's been drinking decaf, which he doesn't like. He says it hasn't got enough flavour, but I find the one we have is pretty strong. But you know, he knows what he likes. Anyway, he may have to source his strong tea elsewhere. I'm thinking about these windows. I'm going to put a darker bit here and here to sort of emphasise that curve, and the same on this one and this one. And yes, it is still a bit scruffy, but that's okay. It's interesting how pink this colour looks, which is fine with me, and we'll do the same here. I think this is the inside of the door frame, but then on there it doesn't look like it is, does it? So we'll just fade it up to the top like that. I might leave that for now. As I say, we'll go in with this toadstool and try and just make it look a little bit tidier. And I'm going to avoid these stones at the minute. I'm just going to cover the whole of the toadstool in this colour. As I say, apart from those stones. And hopefully it's actually looking a little bit more orangey, but that's okay. It just bring it all together, make it look a little less messy, give us a bit more depth of colour. Layering up colour is very beneficial, makes a big difference. I'm going to grab my rattlesnake again. Oh, grabbing a rattlesnake. That's not a good idea, is it? Oh, that makes me full of shudders. Ugh. But anyway, just do that window like that. Just the same way as we did the others. And getting back to my toadstool, I'd much rather grab a toadstool, although it might be anyway, it might be as poisonous. Sorry, I just got distracted then. My sister sent me a message and I read it. It distracted me. So I'm just going to do a little circular motion around here just to try and smooth out our colour a little bit more. I think it's working quite well. The Black Widows are nice pencils, and I did pick them purposely for this picture because I thought they would work with the size of picture that it is, with the details and things, but they aren't brilliant for large areas necessarily. I find a sort of softer, smoother pencil is better for that. So a Prisma or a Caran d'Ache Luminance, Arteza Expert, Derwent Lightfast, something like that. But I tend to use pastels. They're even easier. The soft pastels are so easy to use, and I've got quite a few videos where I use them for backgrounds, and I may do that for this picture too, but we'll see how it looks. I haven't really thought about background yet, so I hope you can see that this is sort of developing a little bit. We're getting a nicer depth of colour and a bit of a difference in light and shade, just a little bit at the minute. It's needs more work. I want the bricks to look lighter because they're standing out from the building. So I'm having a little think about what to do with those. Gonna work on that door frame. I think I'll just do a similar to that arch, but with this, so a bit more colour there, and then less as we go up. Hopefully that might work. Like that. And then a bit in here, a bit darker on here, I think, just so it looks a bit different, not for any other real reason. Okay. Oh, the windows. I'm just gonna smooth it a little bit. It's a bit messy in that middle area. Now what has happened now is quite a lot of that edge where we put in a darker colour has disappeared a little bit because we've spread it with this colour. So I think I'm going to use this, the Chestnut. It's another shade, it's a darker brown. It may or may not look right. I'm going to try it on the windows first because we need quite a bit of shadow here. I think it's going to work to just emphasize that contrast a little bit in light and shade there, and we can put it on the edges here too. Now what I'm trying to do is to put more here and then less as we go in and just sort of fade it into the colour that's already there. That's my plan, so we can see if it works. I did see while I was out some daffodils in someone's garden starting to open, which was rather nice, and there was some along the canal as well. They were in very tight bud. They're in the shade, so they take a little longer to open. So yeah, it's making me think about Easter. I think daffodils, I guess some people sort of associate them with Mother's Day. In the UK, Mother's Day is in March. I think it's the 27th this year. In other countries, I know it's in May, but I don't know why. I think Father's Day is usually on the same day as the UK and the US, but Mother's Day is a different day. It's a bit odd, I don't know why. I think in the UK, Mothering Sunday is a church, a religious Christian tradition, whereas I don't know if Mother's Day in America this has got the same roots, even though it's called the same name. Right, so I'm happy with that contrast of colour and the fact that it helps the stem of the mushrooms look a little bit more rounded, but I do want a more intense shadow on some areas. And what I'm going to use for that, if I can find it, is the flat black. This is from the Cobra set, and I'll show you. So here, where these two overlap, I just want a little bit of shadow here, along here and down there, and hopefully that just brings this forward just a little bit. It's really quite subtle, and we want the same under here, under the sort of top of the mushroom, like that, and under this one, and then under each brick. Now I've tried to run this little series in order so that you you get one after the other, but tomorrow is Monday, and so I always do a planner page, so there'll be a little gap for a planner page, and then we'll be back to this page again. That's my plan anyway, but I traditionally do a planner page on Monday so that you can make a start on it at the beginning of the week if that's what you want to do. So so that's what I'm going to stick to. I hope you can see what I'm doing. I'm just putting in a few little lines here and there, and I find it makes quite a difference. Right, the bricks are too pale at the minute, and I'm trying to think what I'm going to do with them. Maybe, yeah, we've got the Toadstool, we've got yeah, I'm going to grab the Toadstool. I don't want to do a different colour, so I'm going to use the Toadstool to just put some shape into them. So I'm thinking the bottom of the bricks would be a little bit darker, and we can leave the tops a bit paler, and hopefully that will help us. And but I want to make sure they don't go too dark and blend too far into the background. I mean, the black lines around them helps, obviously. Let's just do all of those. The little bricks on these are quite dark, and I think I forgot to put a black line under them, didn't I? Anyway, we'll deal with these first. Now, you could spend a lot of effort doing around the edge of the bricks, getting a lot of contrast, making them look a nice shape and things like that, but I'm just going to do it quite quickly. I do have bricks and stones tutorials which are more complex than that, but I'm just keeping it simple today. Yeah, I'm going to use the flat black again to go under these. I'm pretty sure that I didn't go underneath them. I don't want to colour them in anything because I don't think that they'll I think they'll get too dark and they won't show up. So I think I'm going to leave it all like that. Now we have got the tops of the mushrooms. Let's zoom out a little for you. Now this is quite complex in the sense that we've got all of this floral, which is beautiful to do, and this has got a sort of teardrop pattern. Now I want both of them to be the same colour. We've matched them up here, so I'm going to match them up here, but what's difficult is choosing what colour to do it, and we've got all these teeny little details to work around. I do like red, so I think I'm going to go for a red roof, like a proper red, deep red. We have got, let me see, what have I got? Yes, I think I'm going to go for the deep red. We've actually got the deep red in the Cobra set. And I'm going to, this one is simpler, so I'm going to start with this one. And I'm just going to do a light layer across all of the main parts. So we've got this sort of teardrop pattern. I'm going to ignore that at the minute. And I'm just going to go for the main base, if you know what I mean. And those circles. Now, those circles I will probably do in white. So I will probably do them in white gel pen if I need to, because I'm going to colour over them. You know what I'm like. So I shall just pop a bit of blob of pen on top to make them stand out after. Now at the moment I am trying to get an evenish covering of red as far as I can. This is quite a pinky red, I rather like it. The only problem is our house is orangey, so not sure whether it's going to quite work, but we'll try. So there's my sort of basic layer. Sorry. You can see it's not terribly even. But what I'm going to do now is to add some shape. I'm going to do the same as we did for the base, so make it darker on the edges. So I'm going to start at the bottom because then I can, it's easier here because it's all joined together, whereas this has got bits in between. It makes it a little more tricky. So we'll do this bit first. And I'm just adding lots of layers on the edge and then less towards the centre of the mushroom. And the same one here, so lots here and less as we go through to the middle, like that. And then we'll do, now we've done that bit, it's easier to see how many layers we need to sort of put on this bit, like that. Now this bit underneath, I'm thinking I might do it in a grey. I'm going to have a think about that. So we've got this top one now, this is more complex. Let me just zoom out again for you. Oops, not in, out. It's absolutely covered in beautiful florals. But what I'm going to do is just try and lay down a basic red to see where we are at, sort of thing. Now the good thing about doing this background part first, which applies to all backgrounds really, is that you can then choose your foreground colours based on this. You don't have to colour the background first if you don't want to. I find with this sort of design it's easier because then I can pick out what's going on. Sometimes when there's complex, lots of lines in a picture, lots of complex design, it's hard to pick out exactly what's background, what's foreground, what's going on, what's a leaf, what's a berry, what's a flower. So I find picking out the background first can help me to see what's going on in the rest of the picture too. So it's another advantage of doing it first. But as I say, you don't have to colour it, but decide on your colour. So I've decided that my background is probably going to be blue sky. It sort of makes sense, doesn't it? If I do one. So I need to be careful that I don't do anything that's on the edge, like these water droplets or these florals on the edge of the mushroom or the mushroom itself, that make sure they're not blue, because I'm just trying to work out if that is the edge of mushroom. I'm just looking carefully. No, it's not, that's the flower. Because it will get lost in the sky. Once you do the sky, it will just sort of blend in, it will look the same. So, and it can be quite difficult to make something stand out from a background if it's really similar in colour, like these bricks down here. They don't stand out massively, they do a bit. If you want your flowers to really sing, and then you want them to be a very different colour. So if we've got our blue sky, if it's sort of mid-blue or pale blue sky, then yes, you can do blue, but do a dark blue or a turquoise, but it's probably better to do a purple or a pink, an orange, something like that, that will really stand out. I'm still trying to work out what's going on with this background, so that's why I keep pausing. There's lots of berries to colour, isn't there? Which is nice. Berries and flowers. It seems a bit autumnal, doesn't it, berries? I thought this was could have been a spring picture, but it's really not, is it? It's an autumn style picture, but it doesn't matter. Now here, is there a leaf? Or is that the end of the leaf there, I think? Like that. Yeah, there we go. Got a leaf there, leaf there. Now what's going on? Let's move up here. It's got the edge of here. So I hope everyone is doing well. And as see here, we've got a strawberry and we've got a red background. Might not have been the best choice, eh? But we'll see how it goes. We'll have to find a way. What's going on here? I'm thinking that's probably the edge of a petal there, and that's probably a red bit there, with that being a stem. It's not always easy. Sometimes you just sort of make it up. Yeah, I hope you're all managing to do a bit of colouring. If you haven't got this book, and do colour along with something else. I always do. If I'm watching a video, I tend to colour while I watch, and I just might do whatever picture I've got on the go, because I always have something on the go that isn't a video. So at the moment I've got a mandala on the go that I started while I was watching TV on Sunday. And I had another picture on the go at the same time, which because I couldn't colour that on my lap, so I started a mandala, and I finished the other picture, which was the I put on my Facebook page and Instagram and Pinterest, and it was the a witch dog rose from the Wildwood Witches Colouring Heaven special. I think it was a special. Trying to work out what's going on here. So I've got this leaf, and I'm thinking that bit there, and I think that's the end of that there. I'm just going to look carefully over there. Yes, I finished colouring that, which was fun. I feel that I started with the berries. There were rose hips, as she's dog rose, and they were such fun. I absolutely love colouring berries, so that was good. And then I did the, there was a sort of rose stem, which was fantastic fun, and so that was good. And then I did the sort of rest of the stems and greenery and the background. Started the back, no, I didn't do the background then. And then what I'm doing now is adding an extra layer to the edge, like I did with this one. And then I sort of procrastinated doing the person, the witch, because it's not something I'm used to doing, and the dogs as well and things like that. But I did them eventually, and then had to go back and rework them a little bit because they didn't quite come out as I'd hoped. But that was fine because the magazine, I didn't expect it, but I managed on some of the bits, like the berries, I put at least 12 layers of pencil, and it could have taken more. And now you think with a magazine, you would have imagined, I think that's going to be right in there, it wouldn't be that robust, but it was, I was impressed. And they are single-sided too, so you can frame them, take them out, or leave them in, you know, whatever you want. And you can use markers, because if it goes through, it's fine. I would always still put some paper behind the page. I did. I don't know if it will transfer across or go through, but it's always worth popping some paper between the pages. It also cushions it, particularly if you're at the end of the magazine. There isn't much behind the page. So, yeah, that's worth thinking about. But, yeah, it was a lot of fun. And but I feel that I need more practice on faces. I don't feel her face came out very well. So, it was difficult because the artist who did the pictures, he's got original colour versions, so you can go and have a look at how it's supposed to look. And I had a quick look and decided I wasn't going to make her dress and everything look like his picture. I was going to sort of do my own thing. But looking at the face, I thought I could take some clues from that. It was difficult because it was drawn in a slightly different way in the magazine version than the original, so I couldn't copy it. So it made it a little tricky. And I found that with actually the Disney Thomas Kincaid book, that I've done one picture to practice, and I will be doing a tutorial for you from it. I've got a couple of ones that I've been asked to do, but I found that the drawing wasn't like the original. There were things that were quite different, so you had to adapt it, and that was fine as long as you're aware and you're prepared for that. Okay, we've done, oh, a wonky, I'm sorry, or a wonky. So there is the sort of house bit done. I'm just I'm wondering whether it's been quite a while. I think I'll leave it there, and as I say, tomorrow is a planner day, and the day after I'll come back and do some more on this one. I'm not sure where we'll go next. I shall have a think, and I shall be back, and we'll carry on with a bit more. So there he is so far. Hang on, where's the there you are, so you can see all of him. There he is. Oh, it's furry. So we will continue with this lovely little mouse house, as I say, on Tuesday. So thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and happy colouring.